these things like climate change, like nuclear, like all of these fear-evoking things, these things that make people worry and panic, are used to control us as humans and are used to augment our behavior. And typically, well, I'm going to say in general, that isn't for any individual person. Like, no individual benefits from any of that. The only people that benefit from that are the people in the power structures or the power structure itself, right? Like, these big governing bodies, they don't see the individual. They only see the statistics over large populations, like they can't look at the individual because there's too many individuals to look at. And so I just, when you hear these things about climate change and all the rest, try and understand like what's the agenda of the people that are pushing this? Who are the people that are bringing this to our attention, who are saying this, and who's pushing it, and why might they be pushing it? And what I've found is that it's to do with control. And these are ways to get people to fear and to panic. And there's a good saying that fear is the mind killer. And all you need to do is look back over the last 2 to 3 years and look at what fear did to people's ability to think critically and reason and, follow the science. Somehow everybody followed the wrong science, like makes no sense. But these tactics are used for control. And that's something that I think as individuals, we need to become more aware of and not get caught up in these silly traps. Like, the answer isn't to stop doing these things. The answer is to find ways to utilize the byproducts that we're producing. Like, if carbon emissions are so bad, well, then we should be looking at ways to sequester that carbon, not stop producing it altogether. It just doesn't make sense to take that backward step. If you want to chime in, go.
I completely agree. Like, knowledge is power. Information is power. Like, just please don't just sit back and allow for these things to happen, or just don't sit back and believe everything that you hear on the news. And I'm really excited about the future, more so now than just like a few months ago, because I see that people are starting to wake up to some of these things. And it's really important that we all continue doing our own research and we have these sort of open discussions so we can learn more and educate ourselves more, and, do what's, trying to do what's best, search for the truth, so like, share this sort of information, look into it for yourself. Don't just, sit around and, let things happen. Like, we all need to sort of come together and, sort of fight back in a way. Like, remember, like, it's not black people versus white people. It's not gays versus straights. It's not trans versus furries or whatever. No. Yo, it's us. And there's no left versus right. No, fuck all that shit. It's us versus them. Let's take the power back, inform ourselves, understand that we're being lied to, we're being manipulated, and we have to come together, because they've tried separating us, but like, we've got to put a stop to that. Like, all of us got to come together, every group, LGBT, black, white, Asian, all of us, one group, and it's us against them. It's not groups against groups. Fuck that noise.
Yeah. And so when you say us versus them, you mean us as in the people versus the power structures?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah. No, just clarifying. No, so you're exactly right. And these are people things, like, this fear and these divisive things are used to mislead and misdirect and obfuscate, really, like, hide things, but to get people fighting against each other, so that they're too busy doing that to actually question these other things. And I think that's the big takeaway, like, with this, again, do your own research, but be willing to be wrong. Like, just because you read something and you see something, don't hold that as like this universal truth. Hold it as something, okay, so that's some information that you've been exposed to. Don't hold it so tightly. There's a good saying about beliefs. you want to hold your beliefs loosely. Oh, I'm going to butcher this. You want to hold your beliefs. Yeah, the gist of it is that you don't want to hold your beliefs so tightly that you can you want to kill it. You want to hold it like a butterfly. You want to just hold it loosely, right? And be willing to let go of it and adopt a new or more useful belief, right? And it's the same as with this doing your own research. Like we looked at some stuff. Now, I don't believe that wholeheartedly. I don't think that that's exactly what's happened, but I think, that's interesting data that I can consider. Okay. And then, I can look, and if other stuff comes up that challenges that, I can look at that, and then I can compare and contrast those two things. I can battle them together and see which one comes out as more robust. All right. But if you're not willing to battle these things together, then you can't find out what's robust. If you just hold, fragile things tight, like so tightly that you're convinced that they're right, when there's evidence that if you put it against the other evidence, it would get destroyed, that's not useful, And so, yeah, do your own research, be willing to be wrong, be willing to engage about these things, and try and, again, remembering to zoom in, but knowing that when you zoom in, you lose context, and then to zoom back out so that you can see it all together in that context. That's the really important thing. I think we get caught up as people, we get narrowed in, and I think a lot of the media is designed to try and narrow us in, to pull us into these little traps so that we lose our ability to actually see what else is going on and see it as a whole.